Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Everybody's here except Carrie and Gary. Okay, first thing we got, acceptance, additions, or deletions to the agenda.
Make a motion after that.
I second it. All those in favor? Okay, committee reports. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. Need to make a motion to approve the minutes for August 18th of 2020. All those in favor? Okay. Okay, committee reports. We got to approve a purchase for a street light at Sean Salise's. Is for a school bus. West County has a school bus that drops off of an evening sometimes. It's considered to be a pretty dangerous area for people, and we've had a lot of people wanting a street light there. We checked into it, and it was going to be about $8,500 to have Ameren come here, run electric, and get it hooked up. So we looked other routes, and they've gone with a solar option, which should be suffice, and we need to make a motion to approve this. It is at no cost to the association. The Promotional and Development Committee has raised all the money through this, through t-shirt sales, hat sales, etc. So anybody want to make a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion.
Adam? Andy, second it. All those in favor? Okay, that's all we have as far as the minute, approving the minutes from last meeting, so we need to make a motion to adjourn, then we'll go into a recap of what all's been going on the last 6 months, and et cetera. So we might make a motion to adjourn. Adam?
I'll second.
Deb? All those in favor? Okay, we got a little recap of what's been going on the last few minutes, and then the last few months, and then we'll go into a question and answer session. I want to give a little update on the police situation. We have been canceled from our liability insurance effective September the 3rd on our police department. So we've been working very hard with the county commissioner, the county sheriff, to continue to have police protection with our same guys out here in Terre Lac. So, we're working very hard on that. It's in the attorney's hands right now, both the county attorney and the association attorney. And he's talked with the commissioner. Mike and I have met with the sheriff, and I'm pretty confident this is going to happen and be a very smooth transition. So, the main thing is we're going to, do everything we can to make sure we still have police protection in Terre Lac. So that's about all I have on that. The insurance, we was canceled across the board for all our liability insurance last year due to litigation. So they have been able to piece together a policy for us. We are still waiting on the quotes. That should be in, Lori, next week.
Yeah.
By the end of this week, we will have the final numbers on that. I was hoping to have them by now, but these kind of things take some time. And we're looking, the way you understand it, not a significant increase. There'll probably be a little increase just due to, litigation. That's part of it, is what happens. But, at least the main thing is we're still going to have coverage. Now on the roads, on the asphalt update, we was scheduled anytime after July 15th to start on our asphalt overlays for this year, and we have contacted Lived Up Materials, and they will be starting sometime in the next 2 weeks, right around the first week of September. And all the schedules are the same. They were just running behind trying to get they were working on school parking lots and such to try to get them going first. So put us behind a little bit, but we are on schedule to get that up and running. We have had Cody Gillette, our Public Works Director. He resigned on August the 12th. Since then, we've done a little switching around, and we've put Officer Ignatius Demir, put him off the police department from doing the animal control and the permit. Now he's going to be doing permits, animal control, what else? Code enforcement officer. We kind of put more responsibilities on him and let the guys out in the field run that. We have not put a public works director in place yet. You know, it's one of the things that's going to take a little bit of time, but it has gone very smooth, and he's doing a fantastic job. I mean, I keep in constant touch with him, and he's doing a good job. So we got that under control. And we've also moved Deb Whitener over there. She's been helping out. We have been bombarded with permits this year. EPA has 69, I believe, right now going on by themselves, plus numerous amount of construction permits. It's been a very, very busy year. So I felt that when the office kind of slowed down after dues and assessments, the best thing would be to get some help over there to where those guys can be out in the field a little more. And there's responsibility in that office. There's enough paperwork and stuff to keep someone busy there to where the guys can be out in the field doing what they do best. And we've put into place, August the 1st, this went into place, we put a 3% fee on the use of credit cards. This has cost $6,900 this year alone for people using credit cards. I know to get the cashback rewards and such, but this is the cost of the association, and we really have no choice but to charge this. Back in 2014, I think it was, when they got 2011, I think when they started taking these, up until 2014, it was illegal to charge a surcharge on top of credit cards. Then now it's not, and it's something that, we're paying almost $7,000 in half a year. It's something we definitely have to pass on. We have also, this was a major thing we've done. The top system is going to be replaced with the Pay HOA, and it should be fully up and running by the end of September. That's going to have everything from our website. It can do mass mailings. We'll get, all the ballots can be mailed out that way instead of having to be handled numerous times by office staff and volunteers. It will be mailed out directly, and I think it was 65 cents per mailing. So the way I figured it out, I calculated the man hours, and it looks to me like we have about $1.15 in an envelope right now. Don't sound like much, but when you're sending out 2,800 of them, it adds up. That's a significant amount of savings. So that's a very good thing. And our website will be able to do blast emails, like, for example, a boil water order, a road closure, stuff like that. We'll be able to do blast emails to everybody instantly. Text messages, phone calls, dues and assessments can be paid on there. We got the automatic bank draft being set up to where you can do ACH debits out of your checking account and pay each month on your dues and assessments. It's going to be a very good thing, and that'll be up and running, very shortly. We also did add a beach guard at sometime after July 4th. This was a position we was getting a lot of calls, sometimes upwards of 50 a weekend, about people with no stickers. Some of it was probably the problem with postponing the dues and assessments and people purchasing new vehicles and such during that time, but this has helped a great deal. I mean, she's done a fine job there, and this is one thing that, we did put her back on, and very glad we did so. Okay, we've had change in the trash service. I know everybody knows, about that, and hopefully everybody, I'm not hearing no complaints. It seems to went pretty smooth after a few hiccups in the system, which is to be expected, on some kind of transition like this, but we was able to save about $3 a month, so I think everybody will be pretty happy. And the Fall Festival has been canceled this year due to lack of vendors and participation, and replaced with music in the park on Saturday, September the 26th. There'll be, Lori, you're on the committee there. What did you, what else is going to be there?
Food trucks, and the country club's gonna have their beer and wine garden
So,
Three different bands.
What time does it start? What time does it end? Just let everybody know.
10 to 8.
that's about all we have as far as, keeping us updated on what's going on. I'd like to have more information on the police. That will be happening here in the next week or so. We'll have a more thorough, definitely have an answer on that in the insurance. And we have a few questions here that nobody signed the sign-up sheet out here, correct? You did?
I think it's not about.
Oh, is there a sign-up sheet out there? Okay, we've got a question on ATV speeding and police response from Diane Moore.
ATVs, I have a very good example, just happened today. I was driving on New Orleans, and there's some young girls driving an ATV coming the other way. Well, I looked up and they stopped, so I stopped. And I said, how old are you? The driver was 12, the girl next to him was 11, the girl in the back was 10. And of course, I said, you're too young. Well, my grandpa said I could. And I said, well, your grandpa's wrong. But if you want, you should go up to the police department and verify that you can, if I'm right or wrong. They're 12 years, she's 12 years old. And I think everybody knows that that's very common around here. There wasn't an adult anywhere around. And I'm sure I could be in that, Logan grandpa, so grandpa said, oh, go ahead. Might be that. So when I got home, I looked at it to make sure I was right, and it says, gotta be 18, under, and, I thought it was 18, but 16 today. And it also said, which I've never seen before, is that you're supposed to have a helmet on, all kids under 16 are supposed to have a helmet on, anytime they're in the SUV.
I'm just talking to myself.
Okay, so I don't see people having kids wear helmets in ATVs. If that's a rule, why isn't it being enforced? Because there's a lot of kids, and kids driving these ATVs, I know they're not old enough. And that's one of the ATV problems. ATVs are going crazy. And I think if you, and I'm sure everybody does, you watch Next Door, everybody's complaining about it. Everybody. All streets. You think it's only your street, and then you hear all these other streets. ATVs are going crazy in our neighborhood. Why isn't anything being done about it?
There is a lot being done. I mean, they're just a huge problem. We have one officer on duty at a time, and these guys have cameras put at 5 or 6 different locations that I know of, and we have caught a few. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them, and I couldn't agree with you more. There's a serious problem with them this year. I mean, I totally.
Never before.
You're right. Yeah. Well, I think we got a lot of people from St. Louis down here with this pandemic and stuff. I really believe that school's been out for 4 months, and people they just spend time outdoors doing this sort of thing, and I think it's.
Have a sticker.
I understand, and if they don't have a sticker, they're certainly pulled over, and the guy has a sticker. I don't think many problems with the stickers. I think most of the problem is with the underagers and people driving erratically.
Yes, crazy.
But I haven't heard too many with no stickers on the ATVs.
Yeah, they're going so fast, I couldn't tell if they had a sticker.
I understand. Yeah.
So, that brought me to another one of my questions. My question was gonna be, how many police are on duty at a time? One policeman?
Yeah, sometimes 2. Sometimes they have double coverage.
And if there's one policeman on, where's he supposed to be?
We have 100 miles of roads. He could be anywhere, wherever he's
He's
called.
supposed to be on the road, not in the office.
Well, now if they have let's just say they have an arrest, they gotta go and do, yeah.
I'm just saying, so if there's one person, he doesn't have an arrest, nothing else, he should be out on the road.
Ma'am, I do have a question. You called the police, today you went up and
I didn't come, no, had to get down to church only one, I have no idea there's only one policeman on duty.
You could probably average 1.3 if
There's
you
what?
take, you could probably average about one. In fact, Mr. Sadler, how many times do you have double coverage?
On a given day, I'm on myself 8 hours.
Okay, so 1.5 times roughly? I mean, I guess you don't have double, what's that?
There's only 5 of them.
Yeah, there's only 5 of them, so, I
Is
mean,
that how it's normally supposed to be staffed, or are you understaffed at the moment?
we're down 1.
You just down one?
Mhm.
Well, for what it's worth, I have a suggestion that maybe all people that are registered with an ATV need to have the rules mailed to them. Just the ATV rules. Because if you send them the whole page, they're not gonna look at it.
They are given to them.
They're given to them, but if we mail it out, how many people read those?
I think
How many people know what the speed limit is?
I mean, one suggestion that we've talked about this in the board, one suggestion that I have is that when they come and get those stickers, that it's very pointed out now, and make sure that we're pointing out, these are the rules and regulations. Kids under this age, they need to be accompanied. We're taking those steps. The ladies in the office are now taking those steps to make sure that when an ATV sticker or any stickers put in place, that they're going through those rules with those parents, with those grandparents, because it's a problem. We understand that.
Right, it's a huge, huge problem.
Yeah.
So that was just an idea that maybe these people need to know. I mean, I got my rules and regs when I moved in here 5 years ago. Went to go to them. I looked at them 5 years ago, but now I go to them when something specific is happening, like today when I saw those kids, I wanted to confront. But I think a lot of people don't even look at them. The speed limits. The speed limits are people, you might as well not even have them. Because people are just driving crazy. I stopped the FedEx guy.
The
Speed.
FedEx guy, I'm with you. I watched him fly across Lake Lafitte the other day. He
You know what
probably,
he said to me? He said, F you. He said, you need to get your road fixed so that that when I go there, I don't have to bring up so much dirt.
I've
And he
heard-
actually told me, F you.
I've heard numerous complaints on that one.
The FedEx
Yes,
guys.
yes, it's a small FedEx truck.
And I was afraid then, he's such an obnoxious guy. I was afraid, I thought, I'm gonna go back and call FedEx. Then I thought, oh my gosh, he knows where I live. And that day, that afternoon, when he went by my house, he honked his horn the whole way.
It's the same one. We see him fly across Lake Lafitte about 55 miles an hour.
I was afraid to call FedEx because he knows where I live.
From the office, if you want to do that.
He's horrible. And he wears flip-flops and he does not.
Probably a good idea. Yeah, he's independent.
Yeah, he's horrible.
Yeah.
And then the other question is about the police. Now that they will be part of, St. Francis County, will it change at all now that we're going to have the insurance with them?
Well, what changed it on?
I thought I read somewhere where we'll have to change the logo where it says,
Possibly. I mean, I would imagine so. I'd imagine the cars will say St. Francis County, maybe slash CDL, TDL. I know it will say St. Francis County on them, yes.
so does that change their response, what they can and cannot do?
No, their deputies, they have been for 40 years out here. Nothing is gonna change like that at all, except the management of them will be Mr. Bullock, and they'll be employed by the county. They'll still be stationed here, everything the same
Can they give speeding tickets?
on the county road.
That goes on this next door all the time. What
That's-
are our police doing if they can't get to? And people, it's up in the air. Some people say yes, they can, all over Terre.
No, they can't write tickets, but I tell you, I spent a lot of time with those guys since I started on the board here. Because I was very up in the air about what they did myself. And all I got to say is this: anybody who thinks that they don't serve the community, well, I would encourage them to go sit up there and spend the day with them, because there's lax time just like any other job, there is. But some of the stuff I've seen out here in just the short time I've been on the board has been bad enough to where I can assure you, we need them out here. I mean, there's been stuff that was beyond me, you know, I had no idea. But as far as speeding tickets, no, I mean, we're private property, careless and imprudent driving, driving while intoxicated, those sort of things, but there's nothing you can do about running a stop sign or nothing technically.
What if you had a domestic violence thing going on?
Well, certainly, they show up and arrest.
Criminal.
They can arrest them.
Absolutely. You'd be surprised what they have, I mean,
They can do that.
yes,
But they can't give, vehicle tickets
yes,
off of St. Francis County.
with the exception of DWI or careless and imprudent.
Okay.
What happened to association tickets? Wasn't they allowed to write association tickets at one time?
That was before my time, I don't know.
First, I thought they could get association tickets for any rule violation.
Yes, assessment ticket, or what was the assessment?
That came from the association, they could refer them back then, but it came from the association, they can't specifically write it. So they quit doing that, and then, find them because it got kind of gray.
Right, understood.
Okay.
But that's something we can definitely ask about.
I need to go in order on the sheet, do you guys?
I didn't sign up, I forgot to.
Can
I
I-
have
can-
2 questions.
Can I take this sign-up sheet first? Mr. Lacy? Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, you don't need to sign, can I get this done first, then I'll come to you?
Oh,
You don't need to come up and sign it up, I'm sorry. Mr. Lacy?
No, Mister, please.
Heavy on the master.
No, kind of a follow-up to the lady over here that bringing that up. You know, I was up on Darcy and Manette, you know, been there for 22 years. And it's getting to be like Daytona 500 on this street. And I've got people on the other side of here that live on the street with me, and they can verify this. That's not on these four-wheelers. And from what I understand from talking to certain people over on Bourbon, the back street there on Bourbon up next to Darcy, that there's some weekenders that come down there to choose the property, and they got kids that got these four-wheelers. And I stopped them a couple times, and they, well, I'm gonna bring my dad down. I said, well, you better bring the ambulance when you bring him down too, because that's just the way I play the game.
Sure.
But, you know, I said, they can't be more than 8 or 9 years old, the kids on there. And then what I'm worried about is, the dust is bad enough, but when the kids are gonna get killed, when they're driving.
I agree with you, and what I've been telling everybody that calls me is, if it happens repetitively, you know, get some kind of photo, video, something, and get ahold of the police. And I've seen them, I've watched them track one down over, around, Lake Bergerac. There was a green one there, and they track him down through a camera. If you can get them on camera, you know, get a video or something like that, I can assure you though, if they see him driving like, you know, like,
The problem is there, you'd have to have a high-speed camera to catch them.
I understand, I mean, it's a serious problem.
For weather over there, they go over that dam, you know, 20 mile an hour supposedly speed limit on the dams.
Yep.
And when they get to the dam, that's when they crank it up.
I hear you, I've seen it. I mean, everybody's agreeing, it's a serious problem, it is, so, and this is much worse than any other year I've seen it.
But the main thing after that, just want to follow up on that, but, Wayne, how about, what's the situation, and you mentioned briefly about the paving's gonna start as soon as they get the school parking lots completed, then it's gonna start. I think Nanette over to, down through there by Darcy, is gonna be paved all the way from Martell down.
Hold on, get ahead of it, let me get located here, where's Ned at?
Nanette, the one run does into Darcy, Darcy intersects with Nanette Drive.
Mhm.
And they said it's gonna be paved from all the way up to the double wide, all the way down, that whole street's gonna be paved. But,
I think that is connected, I'll know, so, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put it all together, not Remortel and all that, yes, it will be.
but my question is, and like I say, I'm gonna ask you, and I'll probably get the same answer I've got for 20 years. You know, when are they gonna do, they keep saying Darcy is gonna get, it's on the book, it's on the book, it's on the list to be paved.
Darcy
And
Drive,
every year, it's been 20 years, and it's the same story.
well,
I mean, it's one of the most traveled roadways.
I,
We got a new gentleman right here, and his wife just bought a place on the end of Darcy, or Darcy. He said the same thing, they come through there so fast, I mean, there's dust, it's just like Sahara Desert up through there.
I totally agree with you, there's Darcy Drive, Rue Orleans, there's a couple other ones that, you know, are desperate need of attention like that, and Darcy we was gonna do an experimental with chip and seal this year and do the 4 roads, and that's still, I would like to see that done. We've had, you know, we lost our public works director and they was gonna do it in-house, but I would like to do some experiment with chip and seal on some of those more traveled roads like Darcy, but not traveled enough to where they necessarily have to be asphalt. I think you've got a good enough base there to where Darcy, New Orleans, Wild Turkey, a couple other ones out here that I think we could do a lot more with chip and seal than asphalt. That's just my personal opinion, but I want to do a lot of research.
Anything
more
that's
research
an
into that.
improvement.
Yes.
And like I say, I didn't propose it, I didn't propose it, but this was proposed, several years, I think Joe Hebron was the president at the time, and they proposed putting a counter, a clock up there on Darcy for the number of cars that go through there at each time. And like this gentleman says, he sees the same truck or car come by every 5 or 10 minutes, up and down, like they're going to grab a soda on Mike's place, back down the street again to cut through. And they just drive like,
It's something the board.
except, and this is what's funny, when they see me, when I walk out there in the yard, I can hear them coming. If I walk out there by the street, you can hear them slow down, you can hear them sliding, slow them down.
Get your lawn chair.
You know, and they go by so nice and neat, like everything's fine. Well, folks, see, that ain't fine.
Yeah.
And it needs something to be done for that street.
Yeah, I agree, and there, you know, we're getting bigger. It's time to think about expanding the infrastructure. It really is. That's part of the reason I ran for the board. And hopefully we can get something done with that. This has been kind of a.
Okay, buddy, thank you.
Okay.
I guess I'd like to build on both of the two comments ahead of time. First off, is it really okay to drive an ATV on a county road?
I don't know, I'm not.
Well, I've several times on a Saturday, I've gotten behind somebody who'd been coming down St. Francis Road, and where it makes the big bend, I got behind them just before that, and they were going really slow. I don't know what you call this
Do
thing.
they have a triangle on there? Because sometimes that's farm equipment if you got a.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
And apparently somebody comes down that road and then they go all the way out to 47, and then they go down to Airport Road. And they're not going fast. These people aren't going at all fast. They're going about 10 miles an hour. There's gonna be an accident sometime. I said something to the police, gosh, way back in the fall, and they told me that there was anything they could do about it and that everything was fine. And that you are allowed to drive one of those, I guess they call them side-by-sides, you're allowed to drive them on 47?
I believe so. I believe they're considered farm equipment. I really do. I think they're classified as farm equipment. Am I right, or? If they got a triangle on them, I seen them in Montana.
These didn't have triangles.
You wanna take that?
Yes, you can drive side by side with ATVs on the county road.
Well, then the second thing is on Notre Dame, that is, people are going so fast, they're going about 50 miles an hour. And I like to walk there, and it's really not safe anymore. Could there be maybe once or twice a week, like a surprise check and stop people who are going over 35 miles an hour, just to remind them that's against the rules? And then the third thing would be my street, St. Pierre. We bought our house there 46 years ago, and they told us it was gonna be paved in 2 years. I think, I counted how many, there's 1, 2, I think there's 7 or 8 families that live on this one block. So it needs, the Chimitar being a big improvement.
That's one of the homeboys to do.
And that is a place where the FedEx and the UPS people are. They're everybody, especially the people who are cutting grass, use my road as a cut through.
Dwayne, could I have one follow-up that I was gonna ask you? I'm sorry, this is on that scuttlebutt. Like I say, this is what I did, what I heard. That there are being lots sold here in Turtle Lake, you know, for whatever reason. Not actually in the main part of it, but maybe outlying areas. And the statements are that I'm getting that there are people gonna come in there and put overlay down on these lots for the people buying them, so they'll increase their value. And if that's happening, that's bullcrap, because I've been paying my dues on time for 22 years, and I can't get Darcy paid. But that's what's out there now, I'm just telling you, that's what's out there on the street.
That we're going to pave.
They're gonna pay or put overlay on these lots that their people are buying out there.
Yep.
Taking care of them so it'll enhance the value, I guess, what else?
Right, we don't own those lots, we're not selling them those lots, that was a private sale, I'm guessing that you're talking about, because.
It's just a lot of them for sale that people are
Right,
buying.
so someone bought a parcel of land, I'm just trying to understand what you're asking, so someone bought a parcel of land and then made it their own, and now they're developing the land themselves,
No, this was, the story that I got was lots that are available for sale here in Terra area.
From the association.
And somebody, some board member or something is buying up lots, which is fine, great, more the merrier. But if it comes to the point where they're buying these lots and then having those lots enhanced with paving the streets so that it increase their benefits for the lots they purchased, that don't ride with me, because
Yeah,
you should take care of the ones that's been on standby like this lady me for 25, 30 years waiting for the road paved. So that's just something that's going around out there.
It's probably true. I would-
You got any?
I was under the impression that something would be brought up about the distance on the lake boats from the shore. I'm on Lake Carmel, Joel knows my name.
We have, yeah, we had, we had a
And
question on the list down
I
here.
don't like, my question is, are the rules still the same or are they all no good? Okay? Number two is that the 100 feet that I understand from the rules that I've read is from your shore to 100 feet out is a idle only, no wake zone. Is this still true or not?
Lake Carmel is 10 miles an hour.
Because I've been having boats come within 20 feet of my boat and my dock every day, 7 days a week. And my question further is, if I have to pay for them, I'd like to have 2 buoys put out, like there are in other lakes, I was told, 100 feet out from my lot line. So, is that possible?
I don't know what the distance is, but
It's 100 feet according to the rules, page 3.
most of the buoys that are on the other lake that are marking that particular distance are usually owned by the homeowners. The only buoys we put out, as far as I'm aware, are on the lakes with those that have ski motors, these are air motors, and they're just put into, when they want to know wake beyond this point in the cove.
Yeah, well,
But the buoys at your house, I think the homeowners were purchasing at some point. I don't know if that's,
but it says right, it states right in the rules. I didn't bring them with me, I wish I would've, that it's 100 feet out for boats. And that's a no wake zone. I fish off my dock for one, okay? And I'm not perfect by any chance. You know, I try to do the best I can and others do too. But I've talked to people and they say, BS. Every time. So if the rule's the rule and we're not gonna abide by them, what's the purpose of the rules?
This is the first I've heard of this on Carmel, but I guess it's something like.
It's on other boats. The police department has told me they get them on other lakes all the time. This isn't new.
Yeah, I live on Lake Marseille, it's the same thing.
Yeah,
They come closer than 100 feet to the seawall.
yep. It's 5 boat lengths. I mentioned to people, they say, how far is that? I said, you got a 20-foot boat? It's 5 boat lengths. You don't have to have a ruler. But anyway, those are my questions. Because if so, and the other one is, there are boats on these lakes, no stickers, 115 horsepower motors. And they run. So if that's not the case anymore in Terre de Lac, then all the rules are gone. They don't apply. Like most homeowner associations that I've been involved with, you break a rule for X amount of time, and they don't count anymore. They're gone. I don't know how Terre de Lac is, but I think somebody needs to look into it. I'd appreciate it anyway. I sound rough, but that's my demeanor, I guess.
Oh, it's up, we'll definitely take a look at it, we can talk about it, put it on the agenda.
Yeah, because I've been out in the water working on my boat, and I've had people down there run me over and create the wakes. You know, when I'm working in my boat slip, on my boat, or out in the lake. And fishing, I can't cast 100 feet. And there they are.
We'll put it on the agenda and we'll talk about it for sure.
Something else along those lines. I don't care about my dock so much, because that's concrete. But all these people with these green pillars in the lake, I was told by Cody and somebody else out here, a number of years, 2-3 years ago, they were falling down. And they says that's because the boats are going too close to the docks. And they're, they can only secure them so good on these lakes. But that's why it was happening. And there were a lot of them on Lake Carmel. That 2 doors down from me, one went out. And then just recently, the old guy's boathouse fell in.
I see what you're talking about. A lot of that is probably improper construction, putting the piers in properly though. I mean, the piers not
But anyway,
done
it's
right.
not just for Joe, it's for all my neighbors.
I understand, we're definitely talking, absolutely, we definitely need to take a look at the rules and regs, I get it.
And if it's there, one thing I suggest is, like I mentioned to Debbie or somebody at the office, hell, I'll pay for them for Lake Carmel. Or we need to do is charge every boat owner on the lake X dollars to pay for them. Therefore, it's no cost to the association.
Pay what?
The buoys. That say 100 feet.
I'm in 2 foot of water. You think I'm gonna pay you for a buoy?
Oh, you're not gonna pay me, the association, do you have a boat?
No,
Okay, then you don't need to pay.
but if I get a boat,
You need to pay.
even in 2 foot of water, what am I gonna do with a buoy?
Sir, you're not.
It's protecting your
Sir,
your dock.
You're
You're not protecting my dock.
Sir, you're not understanding. You.
Okay, Mr. Westmoreland's got a question.
Go.
Hey, guys, come on, bro.
No.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, come on, guys.
I got 4 now.
Guys, seriously,
Please.
grow up.
I've got 2 things. If you look back in the minutes, that situation was addressed about 4, 5, 6 years ago. I don't remember the exact time, but it's in the minutes somewhere, I'm sure. About the placement of the buoys and whose responsibility it is and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
I was told you could not by the police, you can't put it out yourself.
I'm just telling you, I know it was addressed because it was a big issue at that time.
Thank you, Mr.
The other question I have is,
Since 4 or 5
back
years
to the
ago.
roads. What criteria are you using to say which road gets paid first?
Cody has a grading system up there that Cody developed, went by. He grades them on the infrastructure, whether water and sewer is available, the population, the base of the road. Are you talking about the ones going from gravel to pavement?
No, just in general and in general.
They're,
In general.
yeah, generally, like he would go by to determine the ones that need to be paid, for example, on a grading system. He would grade them on the population of the street, on how much a percentage of the street was developed, like 20%, 30% on what have you, whether there was water and sewer, whether there was gate valves sticking up in the street, whether there was manholes in the street, all that was taken into play, and the base before,
What about the traffic?
Yeah, traffic would be population. I mean, that doesn't include the population, because they actually did a census on St. Francis and on Rue Terrebonne, back in 2015, I think it was, 14 or 15. And that's
I'm just wondering if a study had been done on the traffic.
yes,
Or
a few
just
years back.
guess.
No, we could pull it up in the minutes. It's been a few years back. There was 1,400 cars a day went by on Rue Terrebonne, I believe. And I think there was 1,800 went on the county road in front of my house, for example.
What about shops?
I don't know if that was done.
What about River?
I don't know that was done. I just know of those two being done.
Those are the 2 main streets to get almost anywhere.
Sure.
On this side of the
Yeah.
development. That's why they're not in good shape. So,
No, I totally understand that. They're not good
I
shape
just
at all.
thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah. Sarah?
I have several questions. One's about infrastructure that is gonna pertain towards the trailer park area. And I was interested in, I know I asked about 20 years ago to put speed bumps in it. And it wasn't in the budget and I couldn't do that. Now with as many people in a consolidated area as the trailer park, speed bumps is a necessity for safety for our children. Then we got the judiciary's responsibility that you know, we can only do so much. We had 6 dumpsters, you guys are above and beyond than I've ever seen before. Terry like handle the spring cleanup. What can we do to get change and to make change? Because I also know you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And I've been trying with Melissa and some other people to start a committee for just the trailer park. And to get something where we can earn money to put street lights in, and we can do this for ourselves, but we need that opportunity.
So is there not, you know, is there not any type of punishment anymore?
Repercussions.
Yeah, any type of punishments anymore toward, the people that do break our rules and regulations? I mean, since there isn't no assessment, you know, no assessment fines, I mean, what is there that we can do to people that are not cleaning up their yard or flying around on floors
Or having dogs they won't take their shots for and let loose. I mean, we're a community, we should all be able to come together, and I should be able to call Nancy down the street and say, hey, your dog's loose, without it being afraid of biting me and giving me rabies.
I agree with you. We have a code enforcement officer, and he has written several violations. I wish I had, do you have a monthly report on what you?
But that's new. Yeah, it just barely started.
This is just barely started, and I will say, I drive around the trailer park too, for example, quite a bit, and I see, okay, it's taking baby steps in the right direction, I'll say that. I mean, it's not,
Well, there's a few years of neglect.
it's several years of neglect.
What is the consequence to violating a violation?
That's something that you could ask Tamir about.
And I know it's being a private community, that there's, you guys' hands are tied in a lot of situations.
Some of them, you said that you were gonna take this, civil court, and I know the pandemic slowed us down, and again, I can't applaud the spring cleanup, that went awesome, Dwayne, that was the best one we've ever had.
So to answer your question, and like you said, you can leave the horse to water, you can't let it drink. Since I started this, I've written numerous violations. You've seen the progress. But the problem that we have and I'm facing right now, and as time go by, we'll fine tune as best as we can, is I will send out the assessments. Okay, I don't have one person tell me, I don't care, I'll pay.
Right.
So it's a slow process, but it's in the books. They've been going out, I mean, personally going and trying to help people. That's why we did the trash dumpsters, and it's helped. I had to focus my attention towards some other ventures with Public Works, so that took a backseat for a couple of weeks, but we'll get back on it for sure, and we will find a way to figure it out. I appreciate all the help that you guys have given and with the metal stuff, but it's slow.
Well, you know,
But
even
it's
some
going.
of the homes that you have spoken with, you know, we went and offered them people to haul that for free of charge, just to get it cleaned up. And you know, it's just laziness, and
That's exactly what it is.
I mean, 6 or 8 mattresses in your backyard, you're not gonna grow anymore.
Those cars have been up on jacks for 2 years.
Right.
Yes.
It's, and Sarah, I've talked to you about this several times, starting the committee down there,
I see you have gotten rid of some of the cars.
We have.
that have been around.
I'm behind you. If you could get a group of people down there to help approve this, I appreciate what you guys are doing down there, I really do, and I'd like to see more of it, because it has taken baby steps. I mean, we're down to probably 6 mattresses in a yard now, instead of 15, and a few of them, and a lot less derelict vehicles. There was one that was sitting there for a long time, and they finally got Marler's towing, they're hauling them off for free for us, so.
Well, that was the problem, you know, what can we do about people, you know, we got people written out things that shouldn't even be lived in. You know, they should be torn down.
We do have to have an occupancy permit. If you see this happening, someone moving out, someone moving back in, okay, we can't catch everything like this.
Right.
Feel free to call up there and say, hey, this one's moving out, and we will absolutely keep an eye on it. I'm with you on that, I hear you.
Okay, can you stop that if it's family members moving out and then another family member takes
It's
their
something we
place?
have to get with the attorney on. I don't know the rules on that, but I can assure you there's someone down there, we probably work hard to get that done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Everybody, okay, we got a few questions emailed in to us. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm new here, moved here in October last year. My understanding, we've had a lot of litigation as an association. With these folks over here's question of the kids under 16 riding 4-wheelers, ATVs, golf carts. Is there way that an accident, injury could come back, being the association knows they're doing it, could any litigation come of it from a child being hurt, killed? When we know as association they're doing it.
Litigation could go on anything, anybody that gets hold of a lawyer, I'm assuming, you could sue me tomorrow, litigation will be held accountable, I don't know. I can't answer that, I can tell you, anyone can sue anyone for anything, but, we do the best we can with this, and we understand it's a problem, it's a huge problem, but.
I'm just asking so that we don't get sued again.
Yeah,
And money goes out again, that we need as an association, is there any way that that could come back on Terra Del Lac?
I don't see how, that's my personal opinion, but I don't, if they have an accident, then I guess anything's possible.
Would it be called negligence?
Why would it be our negligence?
But you know they're doing it.
But you don't
It's in the
know.
rules, and we as an association know that they're doing it.
It's like drinking and driving. Okay, people drink and drive, but if they get in an accident and killed in the city of Festus, the city of Festus isn't responsible because they pulled people over. If we completely ignored it and didn't respond to it, then we would be negligent. So as long as our police are responding to calls, we should be fine.
And the other thing is, daily, I'm sure, not hourly, you get calls and complaints about dust in the roads and everything. Have we even ever thought about a special road assessment on top of our yearly assessment? Strictly for the road.
There is a road assessment on.
We have one. We have one. Yeah, $30.
We have one that's on there.
That's the first I've heard.
No, just
It's been
recently,
set
within
up
the last 2 years.
4 years, I think. 3 years. 2017, I think is when that started.
It's included in.
It's included in your.
It's part of your, it's part of your sales tax, it's earmarked for,
Yeah.
for road improvement.
How much of that there earmarked for?
I think it was $60 if I remember correctly.
60 for a house, 30 for a lot, 100% earmarked for roads.
Only because I want this on minutes, because there's the next door, Facebook pages, there's a lot of turmoil about who pays what in assessments. The trailer park, I prefer to be called the mobile home park, pays the exact same assessments as someone that has a house on the lake.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And there's actually about 135 of them, which is
A lot of revenue.
a huge income yearly. It's up to that people.
I got a question, couple questions, sorry I'm not gonna dock it on you, I didn't know that you'd be on, I'll make sure I am next time. Who's responsible for the country club?
The country club,
Okay, so it's a different.
totally
entity?
different entity.
So the association has nothing to
Nothing.
control with the safety of what goes on there?
No.
So who would I talk to about that?
Their club president.
Yeah, what
Who's that? Yeah, it'd be nice if
Her
I had
name's
a
Sue
name.
Boren.
Sue who?
Boren, B-O-R-N.
Okay. My next question, being new, I know the ballots came out last year, I'm just wanting to get some knowledge, nothing computations, we'll know why the board changed, how it changed, just so I'll know how that went in effect, because I know there was a ballot sent out, people voted, and the person that was voted in is not there anymore, I'm just curious why.
No, that's not true. The person that was voted is still here.
Not the president.
Well,
That's not
they don't
true.
vote for president, we decide who our.
Okay, that's why I'm asking, I'm asking for knowledge, I
We
don't
just, we
know.
vote for who's gonna be a member and we decide who we're gonna vote.
Okay, so why was she no longer president then? Why'd you guys decide that?
We got that question coming up.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go to these from the email sent in. I've got a question from Jill Nelson. She says, will there be a decrease in assessments due to losing our PD? We're not losing our PD. There'll be no decrease in assessments. As far as we know at this point, there'll be no increase or decrease. We haven't determined that at all for next year. But no, there's gonna be no decrease. We're not losing the police. Transferring them to the county's responsibility.
But there still will be a cost to us.
Yes.
It's gonna be, there's a cost because we're trying to keep an officer here all the time for us to use. So there's gonna be that cost.
Okay, we got a question here from Megan Medley, and it's the same thing. It seems like we gotta have a serious meeting about four wheelers. There's another one. about side-by-sides and four-wheelers, blaring music, riding after curfew, children. Police say it's association of broken rule, and it's not a law, what's the negative consequences? And it's something we just talked about, we're gonna have to have a talk with the attorney on this and see what we can do, because the only suggestion I give people is this: get a picture, find out where they live, get a video, what have you, and get all of the police, and I can assure you, if they're driving erratically, they're gonna knock on the door and say, hey, listen. 90% of the parents are gonna comply, and probably ground a kid or whatever, there'll be some that don't. That's a problem.
It kind of sucks to say, but you know, if you're letting your underage child ride a four-wheeler, I know there's a few laws that these gentlemen can press, like a DWI, a child endangerment. I mean, if you're letting an underage child drive a four-wheeler, I mean, you're actually endangering the child. So it is truly against the law.
Like some gentleman said, a 9 or 10-year-old, that's endangered.
But we don't want parents being arrested. You know?
No, it's not that, I mean, it's a problem, we're aware of it.
Hit him in the pocketbook, that's what.
Right. That usually hurts worse.
Usually the threat of getting arrested is enough.
Okay, we got a last question here from Bill Prosser and Mary Schaefer. Said she would like to know the real reason why Deb Thacker was removed as board president.
Lane, we can't hardly hear you, Bill.
Yeah, we need to
I'm
hear
sorry,
you
I'm
back.
sorry.
I turned it off, because it's humming.
Okay, better?
Yeah.
Okay, last question's from Jill Prosser and Mary Schaefer. Says, I'd like to know the real reason why Deb Thacker was removed as board president, why the urgency? And Mary Schaefer asked the same, and wanted to know about the changed minutes posted online. Okay, first reason, I can only answer for myself, and my answer is, we all have one vote here, the same. Deb's an excellent board member. We want to move a little faster. I will not serve on a board when certain things need to be done by certain times. Employee evaluations was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back with me. That's my decision. I think she's an excellent board member. I was thankfully able to have those done within about 48 hours afterwards, which that's the way to operate things. When it says May 1st, and these are the backbone of the community, you know, we're dependent on those people. We don't get paid to do this. That means May 1st. That's my only reason. Other than that, great board member. I can't speak for anybody else on that. And the minutes that was posted online, those were minutes that was asked not to be put online or exposed to the public from the CPA, because it mentioned personnel. It was not an audit. I don't know where that came up with. It was a monthly review of books, and the CPA specifically asked for that to be taken down. I received a phone call while I was on the job, wanting it taken down immediately. That's why it was done. That's about all. I mean, unless anybody else wants to answer.
You had one thing that you thought was wrong?
No, ma'am, no, they was asked 4 of us. I said my opinion.
Okay, what are the other ones?
You'd have to ask them.
I'm probably not gonna really answer it.
We don't have the right to know as association members why you did it?
I don't know that you do have the right, I don't think that we did anything wrong, we did make that decision, but I would say that I thought that we needed to get more done, we weren't moving fast enough. That's all it boiled down to, I had no issue with her, we needed to get somebody there that's gonna push things.
So I guess I'm confused, why do we even get ballots that say,
You let people sit here.
Because you voted the
Hold
people
on,
sit here.
let me finish. I'm just confused, because I'm on executive board of something, so I know how we run, and I'm not seeing it run the same way, so I'm just trying to get some clarity. When we get ballots in the mail, didn't it say vice president?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm asking, so I'm wrong, okay, that's why I was asking. So you're just voting for 5, 6, 7 members?
I have a question. What's your name?
Scott Ferris.
Nice to meet you. I just didn't know who you were.
No, I'm just trying to get.
No, if they decide 4 people, if the majority of the board decides tomorrow that I'm not moving fast enough or what have you, so be it. That's good. I'm fair with that.
That answered my question, I just didn't know how it worked.
Yeah, everybody still has one vote, and I strongly believe that if 4 people come tomorrow and say, hey, you're not doing this right, okay, I'm good with that.
Didn't it say that the top 4 or 5 didn't have a certain order, that if they got this many votes, they put them in this position, this many votes?
Well, if you go by that, the president, vice president got by far the most number of votes anyhow.
No, that's what I'm asking, I thought that's what it said.
We're on cycle, you only go for 2 people a year, so you.
The way it worked out this year, we had three.
We had the special election.
She was, so the lowest qualifying vote getter got the 1-year term, and the 2 higher vote getters were short.
Okay, so I'm not dumb, I
And
remember
then we
reading
definitely had something like that on there,
Yeah,
but it was just about.
Because I read, that's the only reason I know that's why I read.
There's generally 2.
It had terms. It was just
Okay, so
about-
it's a special runoff, and then, I got you,
Yeah.
those 2 things, okay. Thanks.
I think that one of the reasons why it was really, really ticked everybody off is that we have just got, this community was just quieting down,
Okay.
was just calming down from everything else that had been going on. And then the board, however many of you, decided to make this change
Mhm.
so quickly,
This-
it looks really bad.
Okay, this is
And
not,
it's like you did it just to, like you didn't care that our community has been in an uproar for how many years now? And it has just calmed down when Deb took over. And things were beginning to get done, I thought. She was very responsive whenever I had talked to her. But it's like you didn't think about, what is this gonna do? What is this gonna do to the whole community? Would it be better if we just told them, hey, we want you to do, or we want you to get those assessments, those evaluations done on time. We want you to do this, 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 and we'll all work together.
I made my point very clear. I know numerous board members have also said they thought people ought to be over to certain departments, as an example. Now it's done. I mean, that,
Yeah, but I'm saying is, did you not realize that we had been in such an uproar?
I-
Did that go over your head completely?
no, if you look at the voting's pretty much the same on everything. No votes have changed, no nothing. I mean,
You know, I'm talking about the uproar our community is in.
Okay.
And then they were just quieting down when Deb took over, things were just getting, and then you guys did this. It's like, didn't it dawn on you, hey, this might cause another ripple, and we don't need that here. Let's all work together to get the stuff done, if you thought Deb wasn't doing it
that's
fast.
what we're doing, is working together and get stuff done.
And keep Deb where she was, so it didn't look like you guys are, whether, I don't know what your motives were, but to.
Get stuff done faster.
You don't get the perception that it came out to the people?
I know I'm sitting on a volunteer position. I know I'm not getting paid to do this, and I know I put my heart and soul into it. I know if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna give it 110%. If it's not fast enough, then we'll get somebody to do it faster.
Oh, I know, I'm not saying you're not, you all are doing great jobs, I'm not saying you're not. I'm saying that the perception of the community was bad.
I'm sorry.
I just want to say one thing. I was given until June 15th to complete the evaluations. It's in the minutes. And then they changed their mind. And so they used that as an excuse to say I wasn't getting things done fast enough.
That was only my excuse.
With that being said, I'm a board member. I got voted into this community. I'm not gonna fight with them. I'm gonna do what is best for my community. I'm gonna vote how I feel I should vote for my community, not for somebody's personal interest. So I'm still a board member. They did what they thought was right. I just happen to disagree. But I don't want the community back in turmoil. I don't want any fighting. I posted that I didn't resign because there were rumors going around there that I resigned, and I didn't. I just wanted the truth to be known. But I don't want any fighting,
No,
you know? We're
That's
still
why I
trying
thought
to
it was in bad
accomplish.
taste.
Yeah, I understand that. I got bombarded with a bunch of messages,
And
you
you
know?
guys have gotta, if you're gonna be honest, you gotta be honest and say, yeah, what happened, whatever the reason, what happened caused another big tidal wave in our community, which we did not need.
And we are still working together as a group. We have still voted on many things alike. There hasn't been a whole lot that we haven't disagreed on. There might be a few things here and there, but that was bound to happen regardless of whether I was president or not.
Right.
I just don't want the community to start bickering and fighting with everybody because we have a job to do.
I think what really happened out there was people got the idea that this was some kind of a power play.
Yes.
And I've heard that stated many times,
Yeah.
people I've talked to.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a powerful, this guy wants to do this guy doing this because he's got a business here, and he don't wanna do this, he ain't gonna get involved.
Yeah.
This is all out there, and it's not good.
That's-
Because when we voted you guys in on the ballot, it was for the good of the whole damn community, everybody, not just one or two individuals.
And then-
Regardless.